The typical scenario is a husband and the wife who both go on a diet, right? The husband stops drinking beer or cuts out a few calories, and boom, he loses, 20 pounds 3 months later. Meanwhile, the wife is still struggling to lose about 5 pounds. Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Dr. Ruth Odoi. I am the CEO and founder of Oasis Women's Functional Medicine. So today I'm going to be talking about weight loss after 40. I have a lot of women who come to my practice for that particular reason, because for a lot of us, we, in our 20s and 30s, we have our ways where we can easily lose weight. However, once we get to 40s and perimenopause hits, then weight loss becomes a challenge. The typical scenario is a husband and the wife who both go on a diet, right? The husband stops drinking beer or cuts out a few calories, and boom, he loses, 20 pounds 3 months later. Meanwhile, the wife is still struggling to lose about 5 pounds. So why does that happen in women? So first, we have this metabolic shift that happens with perimenopause, and it starts with the decline of estrogen. Once estrogen begins to decline, the body, already is used to having estrogen around, and it, fills up the estrogen receptors that we have throughout our body. And so once we start having the decline, the receptors are still in need of estrogen. And so then the brain sends the signal to the body asking, where is the estrogen? So the body starts to make what looks like estrogen so that it can do what estrogen does. And in the process of doing that, we tend to make a lot of cortisol. And cortisol is our stress hormone, and we all need cortisol on our day-to-day to survive. However, when cortisol is released, the body thinks you are in a fight or flight mode, and so there is a release of glucose, which you need to move. And with the release of glucose comes insulin, and insulin is great at storing fat. And so here you are, stressed out because you can't fit into that skinny jeans anymore, and also stress from the estrogen decline leading to cortisol release. So now you have two things going on. The other thing that we also see is that as we get older in our 40s, our physical activity typically declines, right? Because your kids at that point are older, and so you're not running after them as you were when they were toddlers. And now you are high up in your career, you are spending more time driving to and from work, you are spending more time at your desk. And so with the lack of increased physical activity, your metabolism naturally slows down. And so that also makes weight loss very difficult. The other thing too that is very important that I come back to is the relationship between stress and under eating. So what a lot of women end up doing is, because they've done all these things and they can't lose weight, they restrict their calories, right? And that's sometimes the worst thing you can do. Once you restrict your calories, once again, cortisol spikes, cortisol increases, and your body just shifts into fat storing mode. So here you are starving, and your body thinks that, oh my goodness, there is something really bad happening. I need to store nutrients. I need to store fat because something bad is about to happen. And so you store more fat when you go on these diets that require you to calorie restrict. So I don't think that doing that is necessarily going to help. Now, with the change in your body with estrogen, it is something that we have to, as women, come to an understanding and an acceptance, because it is physiology. And you will get to a place when you are completely menopausal, and it's then, we start discussing estrogen patches to help replenish the estrogen. So in other words, not every woman in perimenopause will be qualifying for an estrogen patch necessarily. For some people, we have to wait a little bit. For others, they quickly, can do an estrogen patch, and sometimes we can mitigate some of the symptoms and therefore help with their weight balance. The other thing that's happening with weight gain in your 40s is changes that is associated with cortisol also unfortunately affect your thyroid. And your thyroid gland is the most metabolic gland of your body. It really controls metabolism. And so when cortisol affects the function of your thyroid, you are going to struggle with weight loss. And in functional medicine, we don't just stop at your TSH being normal. We look at your other thyroid markers to make sure that they are optimal for weight maintenance. The other thing that we have to also understand when it comes to weight gain and trouble losing weight in our 40s is the sleep issues that comes along with perimenopause. A lot of women start to struggle with sleeping well. They either can fall asleep quickly but have trouble staying asleep. And for some women, it is because they are having some hot flashes. For other women, they just can't sleep. They have anxious thoughts going on and on and on. And so they just can't seem to be able to shut down their bodies to go to sleep. And lack of sleep alone also affects your metabolism. It affects your mood. When you are sleep deprived, you are not looking to make any good food choices. You really aren't, just being honest, right? When you are sleep deprived and your cortisol is high, your estrogen is up and down, a lot of us are not looking for salads. We are looking for comfort foods because we feel so awful, right? You feel sleep deprived, you are anxious, your mood is fluctuating, you are having hot flashes. So many changes are happening all at the same time, and it affects how you pick foods. You will not be interested in eating something healthy because you are not feeling well. You don't feel like yourself. You feel like a stranger, really trapped in your body, and you don't recognize that woman as much as you used to. And I want you to know that you are not alone. This is something I see in my office over and over again. A lot of women come and their main issue is, listen, I just don't feel like myself anymore. And I've started to gain weight, and the weight gain is causing me more stress. So, they are stuck in this cycle. And I have some good news, okay? It is not all that bad. It is your body just preparing you for a next season. And I think once you start to change the narrative in your mind about perimenopause and menopause and seeing it as, okay, I'm going into my next season, then it helps you to prepare. So for instance, when you are pregnant and you're about to have a baby, there are certain things that you do to prepare for the arrival of the baby, right? And so is the same for menopause and perimenopause. You see these changes happening. Okay, it's time to lock down. What can I do? So now I'm going to give you some tips. First thing is acceptance of this season. And it may come in the practical form of looking through your wardrobe and getting rid of things that no longer fit, and looking for a stylist to help you pick things that complement how you are looking in the moment. Okay? Just accepting it and that practical step. The next thing is, please do not calorie restrict. go and get a finding. In my office, I have an in-body scan, and that looks at your body composition, and it also gives us a calculation of your basal metabolic rate. And this is the amount of calories you need just to exist. And for a lot of women, it is between 1,400 and 2,000 calories, believe it or not. So if you are eating anything below that, then you are actually causing your body more stress, and that is going to then affect your ability to lose weight. And so understanding the importance of not under eating your daily calorie needs, just making sure you stay right at that number or a little below, but not starving yourself. The other thing is routine exercise. So for a lot of women, because of those changes with your cortisol, high intensity exercises may not be the route for you. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but for a lot of women whose stress hormones are super elevated, high intensity exercises actually will worsen the condition. So movement, what I say is moderate physical activity. This is activity you can do and maybe sing or hum a song while you are doing it. So fast-paced walking, and the recommended amount is 150 minutes a week. And some strength training, so lifting weights. So right now in this stage in your 40s, muscle is money, okay? Muscle is money. So that strength-based exercises and doing those things will help with making you feel better. It will help with sleep and all of that. And then the third thing is making sure that you are sleeping well. For a lot of women, putting them on some progesterone at bedtime makes all the difference, right? They are able to sleep better. And once you can sleep better, making these other choices during the day becomes much easier. The last but not least is really stress management. A lot of us, we are in between the years where we have kids who need us a lot, and then aging parents who also sometimes need us. And so we are sometimes caught in the middle, and just acknowledging that, okay, my time or my energy is spread thin because of all these obligations, and making the conscious effort to take time for yourself and having like a stress release or stress relief routine that works for you. Not something that works for someone on TV, but what works for you. Knowing that, okay, when I sit to read a book, or I sit to drink tea, or I take a bath, all these things help me to relax. Then engage in those activities, and you have to be intentional. It won't just magically happen because you are busy, right? You have so many things going on. And so it will not magically happen. You have to make room for it. You have to put it on your calendar. You have to schedule it. If it is getting together with some old friends, you have to schedule it. You have to make that effort. So I hope all of this was helpful, some of the science and some practical tips to navigate weight changes associated with perimenopause. If this is something that resonates with you, please subscribe to the channel. Also visit my website at Oasis Women's Functional Medicine. We are a boutique practice located in Rochester, New York. And until next time, I will see you again. Thank you.